Hello everybody. If you're a music teacher or a piano teacher or involved in lessons in any way, you'll already know one of the biggest hurdles that students face when learning to play the piano. It isn't the time they spend with the piano teacher. That's the best part. That's where all the inspiration happens. It's what I call the music lesson black hole, and it's the part in between the lessons. So, say for example, a student has a lesson on a Tuesday, goes away after the lesson with things to practice and exercises. By Friday, the muscle memory's gone. They've forgotten what the goals were. When they come back to the lesson on a Tuesday, they spend the first 20 minutes of that lesson relearning what they did last week just to get back to a baseline. On top of that, you've got the admin burden this places on the teacher as well, keeping track of all these things with spreadsheets, databases, and that's an hour spent doing admin is an hour less spent giving lessons, which is where your time really matters. So that's something that I considered when developing Hyperflow Piano. It's a tool that's made for teachers and students. For students, it's a place to practice with their goals, easily achievable, easy to find, no remembering needed, and it gives instant feedback. So if they're making mistakes in scales, for example, or doing some sight reading practice. So for a student, it's just a helping hand. They've got somebody there to guide them in the right direction if they feel they're losing that track in between lessons. So I'll take a few minutes now just walking you through some of the functions of the tool. So just to give you an overview of the functions available to the teacher, here you can see a list of students. Students can be assigned a level or a group, and groups would typically be things like classes or year groups. These are all customizable and you can manage those here. These can be renamed or deleted or new ones added and removed. Selecting the level is simple. Likewise, selecting the group or class is also simple. These students can then be filtered by different classes. And they can be sorted in order of name or group or level. Just like that. One of the other features we have is goal templates. So in the goal template screen, there's a selection of preset goals at the bottom. So you can see the first couple aligned to the ABRSM grade 1 and 2. And then we've got some very basic major scales and minor scales. So these can be selected and added to the templates, or you can add your own template. Once you've added your template name, it's just a case of editing the goals, and they could be from a huge selection of options, which would be scales, arpeggios, harmony practice, cadences, interval practice, sight reading practice, as well as ear training sessions as well. You can then from this window easily apply that to students, and you can sort by certain students of a certain class, and in a few simple steps you've seen those goals are now assigned to those students. One of the other options we have is managing sheet music. So you can upload your own sheet music, which would be in music XML format. Alternatively, there is a large selection of sheet music. So if you want to assign some sight reading practice to your students, that's possible. You can preview them here as well, just so you can check which one it is you're assigning before doing so. A lot of the other functionality here we see is just the admin of your account, so changing your passcode, signing out. Down to the bottom here, we've got student enrollment, which is very simple. It's all managed by students self-enrolling, so you don't need to spend time entering all of your students in the school, which could be hundreds. All you need to do is give them this link, which you can copy from that. You can send that in an email. You can print it on a piece of paper, hand it out into a class. Students will then go to that website link and they will create their account just by entering a username and setting themselves a 4-digit access PIN. Anyone with the school ID of your school, which as you can see here is the Music Mark Demo school name, can enroll into your school account. If you do want to prevent this, you can set a 4-digit key, as you can see I'm doing here, and you would share that 4-digit key with the people you want to enroll. So it could be as simple as a handout in a class, or you could just verbally tell them. That prevents anyone who's unauthorized signing up to your school. Then looking at some of the features here, at a glance you can see which students have goals assigned, which students are actively practicing those goals, and there's a legend at the bottom which just gives you that kind of information. There's a student notes feature where you can make a few notes. And then you've got a range of options. You can reset the student's PIN. You can generate them a new recovery code, but it is all designed for them to self-manage themselves, all without the need to take email addresses or contact details of students, because we understand that privacy is important, especially with younger students. So it's a very safe system in that it's just based on a user-generated username and a 4-digit PIN to log in. We don't store any personal data. So continuing on this list, you can view a student's report. You can see here the goals they have set. There's an AI progress report, which will look at their history of their practice over the time they've been practicing, and it'll build up a report based on that, which you can share with them or with their parents. These sections will start to populate as the student practices, showing you how often they're practicing each week, how accurate their ear training and their sight reading is, and the number of exercises they've done each week, and the number of goals being met. At the bottom here, you'll see a visual representation of the number of days that they're actively practicing, which is useful for you. You can edit the student's goals, which could be as simple as removing their goals and adding one. So let's add a sight reading. We'll pick a piece of custom sheet music, set the speed, and we'll do twice. You can refresh that student list now, and you're starting to see which students have active goals and which don't. You can view practice insights for the student. So this will show you anything which you configure down to all the different exercise types there are, all the different scales, and you'll see how they're progressing, how accurately and how well they're doing. You can delete students and that frees up a seat within your plan, and then you can reassign a new student to that. If you have a student with a set of goals you'd like to share with other students, you can use this feature here where you copy those goals and you select all the students that you want to have that. Starting to see this changing more and more as each student gets extra goals given. And now for a look at the student side of things. Let's log in as a student. So when the student signs in, if they have goals which you've set them, that's the first thing they're presented with. They can take a look at the goals they've been given. You can see here, this student has some sheet music, and all they need to do is click on go, and that takes them straight to the practice. It preloads the sheet music you selected at the BPM you chose, and they're ready to go then. And I'll just quickly play through just to show an example. Clearly a lot of mistakes there, and you can see it's come back with some feedback on that. It shows what type of errors they were. There are 5 timing errors and 9 wrong notes. So let's give it another try. A little bit better. We can see the timing's improved on that, but we just have 4 wrong notes. So let's try once more. It's also told us that we've now practiced the amount of times that the teacher set. We can keep practicing or go back to view our goals to see what's next. But let's try again. Almost 92%. It's very good, but that last note was wrong. Just great for telling your students and helping them whilst you're not there to guide them in the right direction. There is a huge amount of things they can practice. They've got scales for practicing. You can change the number of octaves. It gives them the finger positions as well. Let's just run through one of those. And after playing through correctly, they get a little notification so they know they've done that. Any mistakes they make quickly tells them they've done a mistake and they can go back and start again, which is good for you because it's keeping them in the right direction, ready for when they come back for the next lesson. There's so much more here to explore. Arpeggios, improvisation practice, harmonic progressions, voice leading, harmony, cadences, intervals, sight reading, and a chord analyzer, which is a little bit of fun. People like to know what exactly the chord is they're playing. There's also ear training, where a student can learn. And this is where it's slightly gamified. Rather than being something that people may find not so interesting, they're given a number of lives and they have to see if they can maintain a high score streak. Let's try one. That sounds like a major scale. I got one correct. Let's try again. That's a little bit more difficult. Let's try. We got that one wrong. So, which one could it be? Let's try. One more chance left. Oh, we just got that one right. Let's try another one. This is a difficult one. We're out of lives. High score of 2. Again, it's nice, keeps the student engaged. So now just covering the pricing plans available. For teachers, there's a free account that's available for everybody. The free account has up to 5 student seats available. These can be used repeatedly, so if a student moves on, then that seat can be reused for a new student. With the free account, you can upload up to 10 free pieces of sheet music. There is a 1,000 character limit on the student lesson notes, and you can create 5 custom goal templates, as well as 5 custom groups and 5 custom levels. All the practice modes that you saw in the demo, the scales, arpeggios, sight reading, ear training, everything is available for yourself and all of your students to use. If you do come from a larger hub or a school, then we do have a pro plan which has up to 100 student seats. This removes all the limitations that are on the free account, so you now have unlimited sheet music uploads, 10,000 character limit for the student notes, unlimited goal templates, and unlimited groups and unlimited levels. It allows for one teacher admin login, and all the practice modes we mentioned before are still available, as well as priority support. We're currently offering a 50% discount through the Music Mark conference using code MUSICMARK2026. That 50% discount will last for 1 year, and you can also find details of this in the handouts. So just leaves me to say thank you for your time watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you'll find it useful. Please share it with your students or your colleagues or your friends. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Happy to help there. Or if you need any help setting up your account, I'll also be glad to do that. Thank you. Bye for now.